Welcome to the What is Stoicism podcast.
In 2015, photographer Pickersgill set out to create a striking portfolio of images after making a simple but unsettling observation in a cafe. Sitting near him was a family who, though physically together, seemed completely disconnected from one another. The father and two daughters each had their own phones out. The mother, at first, didn't. She stared out the window, sad and alone in the company of her closest family. The father occasionally looked up to announce some obscure piece of information he had found online, at one point twice mentioning a large fish that had been caught. No one replied. Eventually, even the mother took out her phone. Pickersgill was saddened by what he saw, the use of technology for interaction in exchange for not interacting. The scene felt painfully familiar, and it prompted him to begin photographing people in the classic device-absorbed pose, but with one crucial difference. In his images, the device itself was removed. What remained was the oddity of the gesture, people gazing into their empty palms, postures of attention and absorption directed toward nothing visible at all. The result was a series of images that made something ordinary look strange again, and in doing so, they revealed the deeper strangeness of modern life, how two people using devices in the same room can feel connected to the whole world and yet be completely disconnected from each other. This isn't an entirely new observation. By now, most of us are familiar with the irony, but that doesn't make it any less worth reflecting on. The problem is still with us, perhaps more than ever, and beneath it lies a very simple issue: attention. What do we give our attention to? What do we judge to be worthy of it? And what are we quietly losing whenever that attention is endlessly scattered or surrendered? There's a passage in Sharon Labelle's The Art of Living, her interpretation of Epictetus's handbook, that speaks directly to this problem. She warns that much of what passes for legitimate entertainment is inferior or foolish and caters to people's weaknesses. She urges us not to become part of the crowd that indulges in such pastimes unthinkingly. Our lives are too short, she says, and we have more important things to do. If we don't choose what images and ideas we allow into our minds, someone else will choose for us, and their motives may not be noble. This is one of the great dangers of the modern attention economy. It's always trying to decide for us. If we aren't discriminating, our minds are easily occupied by triviality, outrage, distraction, and mindless amusement. It is, as Labelle puts it, the easiest thing in the world to slide imperceptibly into vulgarity. And yet the issue isn't only digital distraction. The same loss of attention can take another form: constant busyness. Stoics like Seneca were so attentive to the afflictions of human life that 2,000 years after he wrote, we can still read his words and recognize the same problems around us today. In some cases, the very tendencies he tried to diagnose seem to have intensified rather than faded. One example is the modern tendency toward relentless activity. We often feel not only that we must always be doing something, but that we must be seen to be doing something. Busyness becomes a badge of importance, a signal of relevance, even a substitute for meaning. Seneca cuts through this illusion with one of his most memorable lines: "Love of bustle is not industry. It's only the restlessness of a hunted mind." That's a devastatingly accurate diagnosis. Constant motion isn't the same thing as a purposeful effort. The frantic filling of time doesn't necessarily indicate diligence or depth. Often it's a symptom of agitation. We keep moving because stillness might force us to confront what we're avoiding. As David Fideler explains in Breakfast with Seneca, Seneca's concern with busyness was that it leaves us mentally preoccupied with trivial concerns. When we become one of the preoccupied, as Seneca calls such people, we're no longer able to focus our minds on anything more important than the tasks, errands, and checklists we're trying to keep up with. We lose the capacity to reflect. We lose the space needed to examine our lives. We lose contact with what really matters. This connects directly to the problem Pickersgill's photographs expose. Whether we're endlessly occupied by screens or endlessly occupied by errands, the underlying danger is the same: a life fragmented by distraction. A better approach, according to Seneca, is simpler and more deliberate. Attend to your essential tasks when it's time to work, but avoid the trivial. And when the necessary work is done, don't rush to fill the remaining space with noise. Rest your mind. Give time to what's genuinely important. Return to the people, thoughts, and activities that deepen rather than deplete your life. Of course, this can sound easier said than done. Many people feel that their jobs, their obligations, or their circumstances force them into constant activity. There's truth in that. Not all busyness is self-imposed. But even here, Seneca's point remains relevant. As Fideler notes, we still need to assess our priorities regularly. When the pursuit of more money, more status, or more recognition becomes endless, we postpone living now in the hope that life will begin later. But later's never guaranteed, and in the meantime, the inner life goes neglected. When you have enough, Fideler writes, you also have time. But people caught in a constant hustle to acquire more often sacrifice the very leisure and inwardness that make a life worth living. This is what makes attention such a serious moral and philosophical issue. It's not only about productivity or entertainment choices, it's about what kind of life we're building with the moments we're given. Because in later life, when you look back and think about what you gave your attention to, what will matter more? Will you wish you had spent more of it on the endless stream of foolish entertainment and low-grade distraction that your devices made available? Or on the people you may one day no longer be able to sit beside and talk to? Will you be grateful for all the time spent appearing busy, or for the time spent actually being present? The STOIC answer is clear. Life's too short to surrender casually. Attention is too precious to waste without thought. The remedy isn't perfection, nor total withdrawal from modern life, but conscious choice. It's the steady practice of asking, is this worthy of my mind? Is this worthy of my limited time? Is this helping me live, or merely helping me stay occupied? To resist distraction and needless busyness isn't to reject life, it's to return to it.